we are at a pretty critical moment for BTC and for ETH. And I'm also going to show you what you can expect for both these coins in the immediate short term. So guys, if you like the content, please do me a favor by liking, subscribing, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. Leave me a comment, share this video with your friends if you think this is useful. Now without further ado, let's start diving in. This is BTC on the 4 hour. And as you can see, we are right now at the value area high, and it looks like that we are rejecting from that value area high. That's that thick blue line here in my screen. And if I'm going to zoom in, then you can see that we had this very boring trending trading to the upside, but now we are breaking that trend line. And well, if you have been following me on the channel, then you know that I'm always talking about liquidity, and all of these lows are just screaming liquidity to me, because you could have longed anywhere here on the trend line and be in profit, and the market is designed to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people the most amount of time. So eventually you're going to rotate from the highs to the lows, from the lows to the highs, and I think there's a good chance that we're going to retrace all the way back here to these lows to pick up the liquidity and then maybe to go higher. The only problem is that I don't have a whole lot here at this level, so maybe we would even retrace a little bit lower. Could be the point of control, although I've said already in yesterday's video that the point of control of this area is actually just a very thick volume area. So the point of control has been shifting already quite a lot of times, so I would then really see this more as a range within the range that we're trading now. So it would be 105, let's say 105,600 until 103,600, somewhere there. Actually you want to see it bottoming out. I know that's a really big range, but what I then usually do is I look at more the local levels. I will not share them now in this video, but I do share them in my Discord. So if you want to join that, it is completely for free. Click on the link in the description. Like I said, completely for free. I share in detail what I'm looking at. But eventually I will be looking at price action and how price reacts to one of these very local levels once we are coming lower. So from this point of view, I would say most likely coming lower. We have reached the value area high, and we are having a lot of liquidity underneath us. There has been no good retracement since we had that deviation. As you might remember, we are in that purple big range, that triangle. We have lost there that range. That was nothing more or less than a deviation, and then eventually all the rumors about the war were done. US was done bombing, and then you can see the price is just moving higher again, finding acceptance back into that range above the value area low, slowly marching higher above the point of control, value area high. And actually there is no good higher low in this entire area, so everyone is kind of waiting for that. And me too, because this low was made during a Sunday, so I was not able to get in because I was not trading. But I think everyone is waiting for a higher low to then continue the trend to the upside. And I'm also in that camp. I'm also waiting for a good retrace so I can enter a long. I right now do not have a confirmation to jump into a short. I'm waiting for New York open, and something that could be a short in this area if we're getting it and we are dumping much lower to pick up all the liquidity is I would like to see a local backtest. That could be something like price moving higher. Once backtesting that VWAP, that's that white line in my screen, backtesting it on New York open and then to go lower, that will be a valid short for me. Or maybe to go a little bit higher, backtesting this value area high or even a trend line, but eventually creating a lower high. And then if we do that, then we have 3 lower highs, or actually 2. This is your highest point. Then you have a lower high and again a lower high, and what I then want to see is bearish CVD. You can use coinlise.net to check that out if you have bearish CVD or not. I want to see bearish CVD, or I want to see a clear backtest of that VWAP before I enter the short, and then I would just ride it to the downside, stop loss here above these highs. That could be a very valid short trade. If I take the trade, I will update everyone in the Discord. So again, feel free to join. The link is in the description, completely for free, and then you know, up to date when I'm taking a trade or not. With that being said, I did take a trade this morning on ETH and I got stopped out, just to be completely transparent with you. So BTC is fighting with that value area high and is finding some resistance there. ETH to my surprise, was reclaiming the value area low of the range, but now you can see, because BTC is weak and it's coming down, that ETH is also selling off, and we are now again losing that value area low. That in itself is pretty weak, and it's pretty bad news actually. You want to see that hold. The 4-hour candle, this green one, was already nice to see, and I got in on the next 4-hour candle. So as you can see, I put a yellow line in my screen. I will zoom out just to make sure you guys can see it. That was the backtest of the previous day high, and we also closed above VWAP, and I was actually hoping and expecting to see a trending day to the upside. And once I saw that close and I saw that price went higher, I actually got pretty enthusiastic. Whoops, sorry. I got pretty enthusiastic, and I entered a long stop loss underneath the low because I wanted this low to hold, to be the higher low, to then eventually march higher to that point of control, and then eventually the value area high of the range, with the idea again that the range has been reclaimed, and I wanted to enter because I was not expecting a big higher low or big dump out to then eventually to get in. I was thinking to myself, what could be a nasty higher low that a lot of people are missing, and then to get into a trade. And when I saw this during the London session, I thought this actually looks very juicy, and I'm getting into the long trade. Like I said, I got stopped out, but I also updated everyone in the Discord when I took the trade, why I took the trade, and eventually when I got stopped out. So with that being said, what can we then expect for ETH? Well, I have to be honest, for ETH it is slightly more critical than it is for BTC, because BTC had its fun and already had its ride to the upside, but for ETH we're still struggling to reclaim that value area low. Quick side note, by the way, was actually funny. I also said yesterday in a video and again in Discord that I expected a grind and then eventually a pop. Well, that's exactly what we got. Unfortunately, no continuation, but the grind and the pop, that is exactly what we got, and we have seen this many times. So therefore, I was pretty confident in that kind of price action. But like I said, just yeah, I was asleep when we really got that move, so that didn't grant me an entry here. Wow, there's a lot of alerts today. It didn't grant me an alert here. Sorry, an entry here. So I did it this morning, and I thought this was the best option. With that being said, if we are now losing that value area low, and we're also seeing something like a local backtest, I'm gonna be honest, it's going to look pretty ugly because we just do not have so much in this range. I just want to see actually just stair stepping higher or grinding higher. But if we're now reclaiming the value area low and then losing it again and maybe a backtest, I actually think that this could become pretty bloody. That is also for me then a reason to look for a short, almost the same scenario as BTC. I want to see a loss and something of a backtest, and then I will enter the short and then to play it to the downside. If we for whatever reason reclaim this again, let's say that we're suddenly started pumping for BTC and all the alts are then also running, then I also want to see something of a backtest where we can maybe see again a backtest of a previous day high, or maybe a backtest of these highs that we have created here, and then to get in. But I want to first see a clear market structures change before I get very aggressive. I do have a few levels underneath here. I do not expect that it will be the higher low, but if it does and everything is lining up, yes, I will take the trade and I will update everyone in Discord. So again, feel free to check that out. A couple of things that I still want to share with you is that market Cipher B actually on the 1 hour doesn't look all too bad. The 1 hour definitely not bottom out anytime soon, but the money flow still stays pretty good. RSIs are a little bit iffy, bit more. However, the 4 hour actually looks like we're pretty much topping out here, and this has turned ugly pretty fast actually in the last 2 4 hour candles. You can see we're also trying now to print a red dot, plus the money flow is curving down and the VWAP. So yeah, that actually looks pretty bad. The daily still pretty okay. We are not topping out anytime soon, so I'm still staying bullish until I see this curving down. On the 12 hour, I have to say it looks like it already wants to curve, and you can also see the money flow here is in the red. VWAP looks a bit weak. The RSI, however, are still printed together, and that usually signals strength. So we need to see actually a breakout and a push higher today although some of the indicators look pretty bad. But if we do not see that today, then I'm very afraid that this was just a classic backtest of the very low, and eventually we're just gonna go lower, and really then my target is this low right here again at an around excuse me, at an around 2100. But I'm still staying bullish because of that daily. We have not changed market structure yet, but if BTC can hold somewhere along the line, then I think that ETH can still go higher. So I'm staying somewhat cautiously optimistic, but I want to see it today. That is super important. I want to see it today on Thursday, that breakout, that continuation, because I have a hard time believing that suddenly on Friday into the weekend we can see a massive pump and a rally to the upside. Usually that happens on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So those for me are the most important trading days. I want to see strength coming in BTC and ETH today, and you now know what I'm looking at. Again, if I take any of the trades, then I will update you in my Discord, which is completely for free. Check the link in the description. And guys, please do me a favor by also liking this video, subscribe, click on the bell, click on all so you don't miss anything. And see you guys very soon again in the next one. Bye bye.